Hello, and today we will be playing Lyre. We're about to continue with Chapter 6. Oh wow, my senses immediately get overwhelmed by the color red. He steps past me as I stand by the doorway and walks over to his bedside table. Lots of red. Oh yes, I love red. It's my favorite color. Really? Of course. I like it because it's warm and vibrant. It's also just nice to look at. I watch him fumble with some things on his dresser and take this moment to look around. The fireplace is really nice, and I can feel the warmth of the fire wrapping around my legs. But the mantle is a big painting. It's a dynamic portrait of a wolf warrior shrouded in a hood. He looks a bit like the owl, but his fur is more of a reddish color. Sparks fly up around his figure, and the painting almost looks menacing. I turn my gaze down and notice a brush sitting on the mantle. Its few long hairs sticking out of it. I guess this is what the owl uses to tame that mane of his. I put down the brush and explore the other side of the room. The owl seems pretty occupied right now. I see him throwing a bunch of stuff into a drawer. I didn't notice until I got closer, but his bed is massive. It's probably a normal size for him, but to me it's huge. So is everything. The fact that it's a canopy bed doesn't help. I'm pretty sure this room and everything in it was built for larger animals. I look over to Leo and see what's behind him. Are those your drawings? Yeah. They're just sketches though. Nothing really great to look at. I lean around and take a look at some of the drawings. Oh wow. Now these are really good. Thanks. He steps to the side and I walk up to the wall where his drawings are. Each one is an intricate sketch. Pots, flowers, there's even a drawing of a mountain landscape. Closer to the bottom is a self-portrait. I can imagine Leo sitting in front of a mirror drawing himself. I don't think I could do that. I've never been that artistically inclined. He's smiling in the portrait. It looks really nice. On the table is a couple of sketchbooks, some coins, and a dagger stuck into a spot where I can see he stabbed it a couple times. I think back to the people in brothels throwing their knives into the bar counter out of boredom. There's also some lit candles that aren't even in candle holders. Their wax spills out onto the top of the dresser and dries up. I guess he's a bit of a slob. The one part that stands out the most, though, is a large piece of parchment. There's a map of Tigran drawn on it. It's extremely detailed right down to every village. Oh, don't read that. You may like my drawings, but my handwriting is not pretty. Your handwriting is very good, but don't put yourself down. There's a bunch of red marks on different parts of the map. What are those for? Point to one of the marks. What are those? Those are all the places I want to go. Like the other two kingdoms in Nero's clearing. I also really want to go there. He points to a place on the map that's just above Erin. I've heard that this river is beautiful during the summer. I've been there before. The Lord's Bend is a beautiful river. I didn't get to see much of it though, but from what I saw it's nice. He guides his finger down to an island off the coastal trees. Have you ever been here? Have you ever been here? And take a closer look, but I instantly know what he's looking at. The parts labyrinth? No, I can't say I have. Like you, I've only been to places near or just outside of Erin. Although I've heard that it's very dangerous there. I'm pretty sure it's almost an uninhabitable jungle. I want to go there someday, just to see it. Maybe one day your duties will take you there? You never know. He stares at the map with a dreamy look in his eyes. I hope so. Look at the other spots that he's marked on, and one stands out to me. Devil's Lake? Huh? Oh yes, I want to see that lake eventually, because it's shaped like a heart. He looks down at the ground and sits on the bed, letting out a big sigh. I'm sorry for earlier. Yeah, I said you don't have to apologize. No, I do. I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have even pried. I didn't know that people were still. I didn't know that people would be listening. That was the conversation that we should have had here. It's me. We should. It's me who should be apologizing. I shouldn't have been so. But I swear I have no idea about the stigma of interspecies relationships. I believe you. But yes, interspecies relationships are a bit taboo in Lyre. Most of the general public finds it a bit weird. Some cases acceptable, but a human and a wolf? Forget it. We'd be the laughingstock of the entire kingdom. Wow. I had no idea it was like that. Word of Lyre doesn't spread much outside the kingdoms, and it's definitely nothing like that in Erin. Really? Of course. It's completely normal. Even with the large human population, people still fall in love with other species. No kidding. He falls back onto his bed and sighs. I have to get out of this kingdom. Speaking of kingdom, what about the party? Should you be doing your job there? Not that I'm not enjoying the company. His tail swishes between his legs, rubbing up against the bed seats. Nah, I got someone to cover for me. It's fine. For just a moment, all that can be heard is the fireplace. The crackling of the logs and the dancing of the flames. You never did answer my question. He sits up in his bed and we're now eye level. What were you hoping I would respond with? Oh, that's okay. You probably already know how I feel about you. It's painfully obvious. I feel my throat tighten as these next words come out. I don't care what anybody thinks. I only care about what you think. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're the only person I generally care about. I love you, Everything about you. His eyes widen and I can feel myself getting nervous. That taste hits the back of my throat that usually happens when I'm on an adrenaline rush or when I'm scared. I wouldn't have made it through these past couple of weeks without you. And damn everyone in this castle and their prejudice. My hands are fidgeting and I catch myself intertwining my fingers together. My legs are shaking and I feel like I'm about to vomit. If you don't want to be together because of what people might think, I understand. I could care less about my reputation, but I wouldn't want to damage yours. If that's the way it has to be, then, before I even know it, our lips have met. He's passionately kissing me. My heart skips a beat and I freeze up. His lips are warm and pressed into mine firmly. I kiss him back and soon, lustfully, embracing each other. I exhale out of my nose and wrap my arms around him. I'm now sitting on top of him as he leans back further onto the bed. His tongue slowly works its way past my lips and I succumb to his desires. There's no holding back as we explore each other. I can feel his sharp teeth on my mouth and it feels weird but good. His slightly wet nose presses against mine and I feel a puff of hot breath on my face. We both open our eyes and pull back to take a breath. He envelops me in a tight hug and pulls me down onto the bed. His warm embrace feels too good, and as I hug him back, I lose myself in his warmth. I'm grinning ear to ear and feel myself lost in passionate thoughts. The sound of his tail rapidly thumping against the bed is pure bliss. He tightens his grip and kisses me on the forehead. I love you, Winter. You're the best thing that has ever happened to me. His cheeks are a deep red and he has this awkward smile on his face. It's like he's been wanting to say those words all day. I feel the exact same way. I roll over on top of him, give him another kiss. It's not as long as the one before, but he enjoys it just as much. Oh. What is it? Someone's excited. He nods down to my groin and I finally realize that I'm almost fully erect, pinted and somewhat jabbing him in the stomach. He's looking at me with bedroom eyes and I get a bit flustered. Guess you're just a really good kisser. I am. His hair wags more, thumping against the bed. I moved my hand down to his crotch and slowly rubbed his bulge. It's big just like I remember it being. He's not erect like me, but he's getting there. This elicits a slight whimper from him. Honestly, I expected a moan. Something wrong? It's just, you think I've forgotten what happened in the baths that one time? This causes him to turn completely red in the face. It's not like that. I was just taking a bath. Though you want to give me another so? He lets out a quiet noise of embarrassment before answering. Yes. After that, I take off his jacket and shirt. His large muscular chest is now fully visible. His pectoral is thick and makes him look powerful. He helps me a little bit by taking off his gloves, and then we get to his pants. I get down on my knees and as he leans against the bed, and I start to undo his belt. I rub my hand over his furry lower stomach as I pull his belt off through its loops. A wide grin appeals to his face, and he even starts to kick his legs a little bit. Grabbing both sides of his trousers, I begin to pull them down. His bulge comes into view as I tug his pants down around his knees. It's tightly packed into his undergarments, begging to be released. I rub my hand over his concealed cock, giving it a firm squeeze and cupping it. Lyre lets out a moan of pleasure, his body shivering slightly. Clearly excited, he stands up from the bed, his pants starting down around his ankles. Please, keep going. He's standing before me, my head at the height of his waist. I grow the bulge between his legs, firmly rubbing it. I can feel it getting harder with each second that passes. It pushes out further and further against his underwear, the cloth barely able to contain it. I can feel his body too. He's shaking slightly, and the soft moans escaping his lips as his tail rests behind him. Seeing this, I lean closer to his crotch, but before my face touches it, I lean around to the side and grab his rear with both hands. This causes him to jump slightly, but he quickly eases into my touch. I nab his butt slowly as his tail sways from side to side. It feels just as big as it looks, each cheek strong, yet also plush and soft. I give them a firm squeeze, starting my fingers underneath his underwear, closer to his hole, teasing him. He lets out a throat moan as I do this, but I ease away and pull back to his front. Knowing how eager he is, I grab both sides of his underwear and pull down. The strap slowly slides over the shelf of his rump, and the bulge in the front eases its way forward. His penis almost floats out and rests between his thick thighs. His large furry balls also lay between his legs on the bed. Wow. Are you okay with, Yeah, you're gorgeous. His tail's now thumping loudly against the mattress. Thank you. He sits back down on the foot of the bed, and I shuffle forward on my knees. I move my hand on his thigh and cup his balls before moving up to his penis. It's warm and girthy. His body jumps a bit at my touch, so I go a bit slower. I lean in and rub my face up against his manhood, feeling it twitch at just the slightest bit of pressure. I look up and see him rubbing one of his nipples. You really pent up, huh? Yeah, only a little. Haven't done this in a long time. That's okay. I'll go at whatever pace you want. His penis is now fully erect in my hands. It stands at a little over 7 inches. It's probably one of the thickest penises I've seen. Nothing I can't handle with a little getting used to, though. His penis is already throbbing and leaking a bit. I lean in and lick the side of his shaft while rubbing my face against his groin slowly. He smells clean, like he just bathed, but there's a hint of a manly smell that sends my senses sky high. My hands move to his balls as I play with them lightly. I can feel myself leaking in my pants and realize that I'm really pent up too. I lean in and place my mouth on the tip, licking as I move my lips around the shaft. He has his paw on my head, and I can feel him thrust into me slightly. His tail is swishing side to side, and when I look up, I can see him biting his lip with his head back. He lays down onto his back, and I reach up and grab one of his pecks. I give him a good rub down and tease his nipple, which makes him arch his back a little. Victor? He sits up and removes his paw from my head. I stop sucking and pull away from his penis. Yeah? I want to see you. See me what? No, I mean, I want to see you. Oh, can I? He goes to unbutton my coat and chill runs down my spine. I feel his big paws whirl up and down my body as he takes off my clothes. I'm shirtless at this point, and he starts to go up and down my torso, planting kisses on the bare skin. He leans back and unbuttons my pants, allowing my penis to come out. It's still completely hard and leaking a little. He pulls my pants down, and I step out of them, throwing them into the small pile of clothes we made. I watch him look me up and down. His gaze falling on me like this makes me a bit sigh. I spread my arms out to the side as if to show off my body. I'm not as big as you, but Ritter, you're breathtaking. I feel my cheeks flush a deep red as he says this. He reaches forward and runs his paw over one of my scars. Whoa, how did you get these? Oh, it's nothing important. He chuckles. What? I guess you're just as scruff as me. He runs his finger over his scar. Haha. He stands up and we both fall into a soft embrace. Paws run up and down my back as he gently caresses me. I rub my hands all throughout his soft mane and practically bury my face into his neck fluff. Our penises rub against each other's body, and it makes me feel pure bliss. I reach around and grab a good bit of his ass. This once again causes him to jump a bit, but he quickly warms up to it. He now steps back and takes me by the hands, leading me to the bed. He throws back the curtains a bit and pushes me onto the bed. I fall back lightly onto the large mattress and bounce around for a second. His large figure looms over me like a shadow. Leans on his paws and knees, looking into my eyes, smirking with a mischievous grin on his face. He leans forward and plants another long kiss on my lips before pulling back and looking down my penis. Behind him, I can see his tail wagging back and forth really fast. He bends down and starts to suck my penis. His mouth feels amazing around my penis, and he licks it up and down. At one point, he even grabs his paw around it while he sits and takes my balls in his other paw. I lock my back and lean back onto the bed in pure ecstasy. I feel him release my penis from his mouth with a gasp. Ritter, yeah? I say this through pleasurable grunts. I want you inside me. I quickly sit up from the bed. Huh? I'm completely capable of taking you. I mean, we don't have to if you would rather me. Hey, Leon. He looks up at me. I'm fine with doing whatever you want. You get to choose. Really? Of course. He quickly crawls around on the bed and positions himself behind me. I feel his paws on my shoulders as he lays me down onto the bed. My head is now at the end of the bed. I watch him clumsily lean over towards his dresser and pull a drawer out from the top drawer. He hands it to me, and I open the lid. Exactly what I thought it was. The jar is full of lubricant with a few small finger marks that have run through it. It smells like flowers and other pleasant natural oils. Run my fingers through it and get a nice amount. At this point, he's already straddled me. He's being careful to not put his full weight on my body. I feel his ass rubbing up against my penis, and I'm convinced it would be enough to make me climax but I hold myself back. At that moment, he spreads his cheeks and looks away bashfully. Reaching around, I rub the outside of his hole with my fingers. The lubricant is cold, but it soon warms up. And massaging the outside of his hole, my fingers are slowly start to penetrate him. His hole is a bit tight, but not tight enough to make this too difficult. The lubricant helps too. After penetrating him with my fingers, for a few more moments I rub the rest of it on my penis. Ready? Please. Yes, I had to skip the sex scene between the two of them. So this is right after that here. I love you, Richter. He's smiling at me with the grin that always makes my heart skip a beat. I love you too, Leo. It's been a few minutes since our whomp in the seats and we're laying next to each other holding hands. Thunder rumbles outside the window and it's somewhat calming, being safe and warm in here doing what's most likely a small blizzard. His paw is much bigger than my hand, and I feel so safe with it resting there. Wow. Yeah. You're amazing, darling. He squeezes my hand a bit, saying this in a mocking tone. You call me darling now? I mean, only if you want me to. I don't know. What would you prefer I call you? Richter? I mean, other than that. Well, I've always liked the term love, and simple rolls off the tongue. Very well. He crosses his arms with a bit of a grin. But, what about my lord? God, Leo, you know I hate that. Really? I find it sexy. I get out of this and roll over on top of him. Fine. You can only call me my lord when you're completely, utterly enamored by my presence. He brings his paw up around my arms, slowly moving them onto my shoulders and then to the side of my face. I can feel his paws brushing against my beard slightly as he caresses my cheek. Very well, my lord. He leans forward and presses his lips to mine. I give it and kiss him back, taking the back of his head with my hand. My hands run through his thick mane as he runs his paws up and down my back. I pull away from him, and he gasps in pleasure. Sit down. What will you have me call you? I can see him thinking about it. Pal? Hell no. Buddy? No. Good boy? As I can see his tail start to wag for just a moment before he reaches around and places his paw on it. Very funny. I was thinking something more along the lines of my night, if that's okay with you. But love works too. I rest my head onto his chest and rub my cheek onto his fur. My night? I say this in a swooning voice, which causes him to laugh. You don't have to say it like that. There's a knock on the door. Shit. He swings his legs off of the bed and runs over to a tall dresser standing up against the wall. Lord Richter? Hearing this, we both turn our heads towards the door and raise our brows almost in unison. Leo is in the middle of pulling his pants up around his waist and has his belt in his mouth. He brings our voices down to a whisper. How do they know I'm in here? Maybe someone saw you heading this way? Yeah, but I think of what Asia said earlier, and it sends a shiver up my spine. Just a moment, I yell this towards the door, and I put on my slacks and throw my shirt on without buttoning it. I walk towards the door and open it. It's a servant from earlier. Yes? Lord Richter, the king wishes to see you in his chambers. Oh, right. I had completely forgotten that he wanted to speak with me earlier. He left during the ball to take care of some urgent business. I was sent to come and get you some time ago, but you were no longer there. I'm told that you left the ball with Sir Reeve following behind you. He leans in and stares at Lyre standing there shirtless. Yes, I did. There was a slight altercation, but all is well. His nose twitches and he straightens up. The king has been waiting a long time. I suggest you find him at once. I'll leave as soon as I can. Very well. I trust you can find your way. This room is right down this hall and up the stairs. I'll be there as soon as I can. I start to close the door slowly as I say this. Good. Close the door softly. I lean against it. Yes, I said get dressed. I'll come with you. No, it's fine. It shouldn't take long, and I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Plus, I want you in that bed when I get back. We can pick up where we left off. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna go clean up, if that's okay with you. Sure, you don't need my permission. I quickly put my clothes on and head for the door. How does my hair look? It looks as great as ever, love. You sure? Of course. Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes, hopefully. Love you. Love you too. Close the door behind me, I turn and begin to walk down the hall. It's a very long hallway with a lot of doors that most likely lead to other royal apartments. I reach the end of the hallway and there's a large archway that leads to a pair of spiral stairs going up. This is about where I think we are in the castle. I suggest this leads to one of the towers. This feels familiar somehow. A lot of things feel familiar lately. There are two guards standing at the front of the entrance to the stairs. It takes me a moment, but I realize that these are the two guards from a while back. The ones that were patrolling the hall after Lyre and I had met Kadans. The bear stands straight with a large basket sword pointed at the door in front of him. The eagles lean against the wall with a dull look on his face. I approach the entrance and pause to wait for their approval. The bear looks down at me with a crooked smile. You kept our king waiting an awfully long time, little lord. I try to give him an incredulous look before walking forward. They aren't worth my time. Nobody is. But him. I start to ascend the staircase, and as I reach the top, I realize this isn't that large of a climb. There's only about 20 or 30 steps. When I reach the top, there's a common area and a large set of double doors with the Argent crest in the center, surrounding the symbol of Tigran. Large bushes filled with flowers adorn the ceiling of this area, and a big window shines moonlight onto the flowers. Petals fall onto the ground in front of me, and as I step forward, I feel the leaves glisten on my shoes. Reno loves his plants. I reach the doors and pull one of them open. It's a lot less heavy than I thought it would be, and it swings open with ease. One of the first things I notice is a large amount of curtains and drapes. They obscure the moonlight, and I can barely see a thing. The room is more like a large hall framed with canopies of white cloth almost completely obscuring the walls and ceiling, like the bar wing. It's like I just walked into a larger version of a child's blanket fortress. I can see a canopy bed up ahead with large drapes and a small bit of light off to the right. The headboard is decorated with large antlers formed from silver. I'd say that chills one down my spine for some reason, but I think I have several reasons. Why is it so dark in here? Where is he? Maybe he got tired waiting for me and left. I'm not sure the ball is still going on anymore, considering it's been a couple hours. Hey, on the village's festival ended much earlier in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if the ball didn't go too late into the night either. Everyone will have to go back to work tomorrow, so I understand them wanting to go to sleep early. And feel myself getting slightly delirious too, and all I can think about is crawling back into Lyle's bed. I snap back to reality and realize my thoughts were turning off again. I don't want to snoop around his room without him here, so I turn towards the doors and grab the handle. No. Someone catches my eye right before I leave. This isn't right. There's a framed painting that's fallen to the floor off of one of the dressers. The glass slate on the inside is broken and pieces are scattered across the carpet. Slowly I walk up to the frame, brushing aside the ivory drapes. It feels like I'm walking through a giant spider web. I kneel down to the floor and slide a bit of the painting out from the frame. It's a portrait of the royal family. It's small, but it's really detailed. The queen is sitting in an elegant chair wearing an orange and white dress, something that you would wear outdoors during the spring. On her lap is a small Adrius. He's smiling and holding his mother's hand. He's squinting down at him, and I notice her eyes are beautiful golden brown, just like her son's. Behind the two of them is Raynor, his hand on her shoulder, looking down at the two of them. His face is placid while Laura's grin feels weird because I don't think I've seen him smile like that before. I take the portrait and set it down on the dresser. As I turn to my left, I notice something even more disturbing. There's large rips through the canopy of the bed. The moonlight shines through them and casts small strips of light onto the neatly made bed. What happened here? I toss a few drapes aside and runs towards the window on the other side of the bed. Lightning strikes outside, illuminating and casting a bright light onto the surface of every object in the room. At first I don't believe it, what I'm looking at. It's like when you're trying to remember a dream from the night before and it's all blurry and distorted. No. When it's laying on the ground in a crumpled position, his legs are spread out and sticking out from behind the bed. That's why I noticed the blood. The curtain is signed with a crimson substance, and there's even a few spots where it's been smudged. The front of his body is splattered with a few strands and drops over it, and his hooves glisten with scarlet liquid. My legs become weak and I drop to my knees. My hands fall to the blood-stained floor to catch myself. No. 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 I put my face up to look at him, and I see his own. His eyes are wide open, and his head is angled toward the window. They look as if they are staring at nothing, with tear stains streaming down his cheeks, empty and glazed. I'm not sure if he's completely dead yet or not. The body still looks fresh. His throat has been cut to the bone, blood pooling out onto his chest and then onto the floor beneath him, creating a dark puddle. And then I can also see several stab wounds in his chest, but it could also be just stains. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like blood was sprayed anywhere. I watched most of it slowly seep out of his throat in thick, coagulated streams. My eyes start to water when no tears come out. I'm too shocked by the situation. I fully stock enters my mind that this might just be one of those nightmares. Imagine waking up in Leo's arms as he comforts me. That's not going to happen though. This isn't a dream. I describe it as a nightmare, but it's not one of those either. This is real. Thunder flashes outside again, and I can see the reflection of it in his eyes. Who did this? There are guards outside the entrance to this tower. To my left is a dagger. The blade is dripping with blood and it stains the carpeted floor it rests on. It doesn't look like a special blade. The dagger looks like something you would buy at your Eversmith. My eyes swell back up to his cold face, and the reality of the situation comes down upon me like a flood. I look up and notice some of the blood has been dripping off of one of the drapes and onto my coat. There's always a large stain forming. Because my body doesn't know what to do. I start kneeling there on the ground, frozen in fear. My heart is beating out of my chest, and 1,000 thoughts are running through my head. Questions I so desperately wish I have answered. I'm trying to stand up, but it takes me a moment. My head splitting open again, and I can barely think. I sit on my feet and dry my tears I take a look around. I have to go and tell someone. The guards. I stumble toward the door, not looking back. As I'm making my way around a desk, one of my legs gives out and collapses to the floor. No. All of a sudden, a massive pain shoots up my spine through my head. Why now? The pain becomes unbearable, and I let out a horrible yell of agony. My eyes feel like they're about to fall out of my head. The door up ahead opens. Your Majesty. He cuts himself off, and I hear him turn to someone behind him as I struggle to get up. Something's wrong. Stay here. At this point, I can barely hear the sounds of heavy footsteps over my own heartbeat. I manage to bring myself to a kneeling position. Stop right there. He stands over me with his sword drawn. What have you? He looks at me and then down at my hands before walking over to the bed his gate billowing behind him. At first I don't hear anything. It's as if the whole world has gone silent. All I can hear is the blood rushing through my veins. Then, alert the castle. King Reno is dead. What? But he was only in here for. Go, now. I'll deal with it. I hear footsteps run out into the hall and down the stairs. Slowly, I wince my body around, so I'm facing the knight. He prepares to raise his sword. You will die for this foreign scum. My heart is racing, and I find myself unable to get a clear sentence out. I quickly gather myself. He brings his sword down, and I swiftly roll to the side. His sword catches in the ground and gets stuck. I'm now on all fours and try to break into his flank. I can't remember the last time I've done this. I don't have time to revel in my reflexes, though. My feet slip on the floor, but I regain control and bound towards the door. Just as I reach the entryway, the tug gives out and I slip, slamming my forehead into the ground. Everything goes hazy, and in an act of sheer will, I lift myself up and turn around, trying to regain my vision. The bear has pulled his sword out from the ground and is lumbering towards me. Please, you're making a terrible mistake. What is the meaning of this? Lyre rushes into the doorway, his paw placed on the pommel of his dagger, ready to draw. I watch his eyes settle on me, and then he looks up to the bear. Sir Bjorn, lay down your sword this instant. He killed the king. His eye contract, and I watch the fear wash over his body. What? He looks behind us at the body laying on the floor. I caught him trying to run away from the scene of the crime. No, it wasn't like that. I was wanting to. Quiet. Now then looks down at me. His face has a mix of shock and anger. He looks up at Bjorn. Lay down your sword. His voice is shaking. This is the first time I've heard him shout, and it's terrifying. Bjorn is reluctant, but he lowers his sword. He walks up to me and stands over me for a moment. No, please, it wasn't me. He looks down at me with fear and then looks up at Bjorn. I see he's clearly conflicted. My heart stopping in my chest, and I feel like a cornered animal. Bjorn then bends down and grabs my arm. He's not gripping me too hard, but slowly lifts me up. Lord Winter, you are under arrest for suspicion of crimes against the king of Lyre and the murder of King Reno Argent. He takes a pair of shackles and binds my hands behind me. What? Is this seriously happening? No, you know I didn't do it. Bjorn is standing by the king, clearly not happy with this outcome. I'll take him to the dungeons. No, I'll take him. As the rest of the castle already been alerted, I see him tighten his grip on the pommel of his dagger. Yes, I sent Finn to alert the castle. His grip loosens and I feel him tug on my shackles. As we turn away, he whispers in my ear quickly. It's really quite a whisper, but I pick up on it. Trust me. A slight wave of relief washes over me. I don't know what he could possibly have planned, but anything is better than being executed on the spot for a crime I didn't commit. He begins to lead me to the door. Bjorn, I need to stay here and wait for the others to arrive. I'm sure that they will be here soon. Understood. Bjorn lumbers over to Reno's body, getting down on one knee. He now leads me out into the hallway, and he almost breaks into a sprint. Doesn't talk. He just looks straight ahead. As we descend the spiral staircase, he slows his pace a bit, and I can't tell if he's angry at me or not. No, you know I didn't do it, right? One silence. I hear bells start to toll off in the distance. They send a foreboding feeling running up my spine. My eyes start to water as the fear takes over. Every part of my body is shaking. I come to a junction at one of the hallways. There's loud commotion up ahead, so he takes me down another hall. Once we reach the ground floor, he spots Kadaz walking down the hall with two Dresian guards behind him. Lyre keeps moving forward, not paying him any mind. Winter, what in the name of Tigran has happened? Lyre ignores this and keeps walking. All I can do is look at him with a desperate expression. I don't know what I can do right now. I'm still recovering from the shock, but I find it very hard with all the shaking. I think Kadaz realizes something is terribly wrong, so he starts to walk faster towards the commotion, his guards following quickly behind him. We descend further and further down to the castle floors. It becomes colder and colder, and I can feel goosebumps rising on my skin. The dog takes me down a hall with cell doors. He goes to the very end and unlocks the door that leads to a large cell. It's terribly dark down here, and my eyes don't have time to adjust to the shadows. I can't even see Leon. Winter. Yes? I hear him fall to his knees. He's crying, I can tell. He wraps his arms around me and pulls me into a tight hug. When he does this, he also unlocks the constraints. He also unlocks the restraints around my wrists. They fall to the ground behind me where a thud landed on something soft. I'm so sorry. I said I went with you from the beginning. I didn't want you to feel like I was babying you. I should have gone with you, though. It's my job. I should have gone with you. I should have. I grasp his face from what I can see in the dark, give her a kiss. You hear her no. He gasps and let out a shaky exhale. What happened out there? I don't know. I walked to his chambers and the entire place was dark. He wasn't there, so I went to leave, but then saw how trashed the room was. After that, that's when I found it. My hand comes up to my mouth, as I remember a vivid memory. I try my best to hold myself back from vomiting. Thankfully, I keep it down. I don't know why they think it was me. You were found at the scene of the crime. Nobody else could have gotten in there, so it had to be you in their eyes. Then why was he dead? I don't know. The boy was freshly killed, too. You don't actually think of course not. He lets out a shaky sigh and hugs me. I had to arrest you. Otherwise you would have been executed on the spot. Why were they going to do that? They aren't supposed to, but Beyond isn't a rule follower. He likes to seek justice in his own way. He pauses and I can feel him shaking. Leon, you just saved my life. He hugs me tighter and then releases me. You have to spend the night here, okay? And I'll have to go. This makes my heart sink, but I accept it. Okay? I'm so sorry. You will get this all sorted out. Don't worry. You'll understand. With that, he gives me a soft kiss on the cheek. He says that I can hear him lock the door behind me. I love you, Richard. I'll come back for you. Sir Reed, the prince. Yes, I know. The last noise that I hear other than the chiming bells, the sound of his footsteps as they run off. I don't know what to do. A million thoughts run through my head, but they all conjoin at the same path. What happens next? I find a stone bench in the dark and lay down on it. Tears stream down the side of my face, but I don't care anymore. All I can do is succumb to the darkness as I pass out. No dreams tonight. Just one word echoes through my mind like a bell. Wits. Wow, that was a huge turn of events. So, King Raynar is dead. We didn't get to see him for very long in this VN. So, we all know that Richter didn't do it. He didn't kill the king. Because the servant came to Richter and Liao in their room, in Liao's room, and the servant told Richter that the king was waiting for him and that he was being kind of late, so he decided to leave Liao's room and head to the king. He was kind of in a hurry to get to the king's room, so obviously while he was in Liao's room, the king was still alive. And by the time he got to the guards, the bear guards told him that, complaining about him keeping the king waiting. So Richter opened the door and he saw the king dead. So he wasn't even in there for very long. And how come the guards didn't notice the king? For somebody to kill the king like that, there must have been some kind of scuffle. The guards still have heard that. They still have heard some scuffle going on between the king and whoever was whoever killed him. So I'm surprised. I don't know. Something is going on here. I mean, he certainly wasn't dead for very long. His body was still fresh, so it must have happened. I don't know, probably right before that servant came in the room and told Richter about the king waiting for him. And that bear guard, he clearly has a prejudice towards foreigners, and he was very cold towards Richter while he was about to open the king's door. Because the bear guard told him, he was clearly trying to antagonize Richter by telling him that he was keeping the king waiting too long. Which isn't his place to tell Richter that. If that's the case, that he was keeping the king waiting too long, then the king himself can tell Richter that, not him. He's just a guard. He's supposed to just stand there and be silent. That's it. Even that other guard with the bear guard, even that other guard said that the king was just alive. He was just alive a moment ago. So I don't know who it could be. And when Lyre came in there and the bear guard told him what happened, well, from his perspective anyway, I really thought Lyre flipped on us. I thought he flipped on Richter by getting angry at him for killing the king and believing that he did it. But by the time, as he was arresting Richter, escorting him out of the king's room, he whispered something to Richter, and that seemed to let us know that he's still on Richter's side here. By the time they got down to the jail cell, Lyre definitely made it known that he doesn't believe Richter did it, because he collapsed and told Richter that he should have been there with him. They should have accompanied him to the king instead of having him go by himself. I mean, even if it was Richter's idea to go by himself, he should have just told Richter, well, I have to come with you, for your own safety, because, if you go by yourself and something happens, always happen in there, people will blame you for it. So they also have gone in there with Richter as a way of protection and as a way of at least taking any suspicion off of Richter. Okay, so we'll see what happens next time. I mean, he's in jail now, so I don't know what's going to happen. If they're going to decide whether to kill him or not, or if he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life, or if there's going to be some kind of trial, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what happens next. So anyway, All the information in the game is in the description box below. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.